The Secret of Monkey Island. That music brings me way back. What a great game.
Amazing game.
It is amazing. It's one of my favourite games of all time. You know, I'm very passionate about this game.
Before you get going, I have a confession to make.
Oh,
what?
I've never played it.
What is it? Is it today like
I'm here to
confession?
learn. It is confessions. Not only do I emulate games, I also have never played Monkey Island. So I'm probably banned from the podcast.
yeah,
so.
kick him out.
Bye.
No.
But yeah, so this is going to be educational for me.
No,
so.
I'm hopefully going to learn something. It is up there. I didn't know much about the genre, the point-and-click genre, before I played this game. So when I saw it for the first time, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, how I came across the game, it really turned into one of my favourite genres very, very soon. And I played many games after it. The sequel, Sam and Max Hit the Road, Day of the Tentacle, Indiana Jones, Fate of Atlantis.
I was going to say, if you played the Indiana Jones.
Loved them. But this was the Full Throttle, brilliant game, and I think they just announced very recently. There's a new trailer for a remastered Full Throttle. It's just been announced.
Do it.
Well, before I talk further about Monkey Island, we'll give a little plug to good old Dave Grossman, a proper
legend.
He really is.
What a legend.
Him, Tim Schafer, and good old Ron Gilbert were the three main people
Those
behind.
guys, they're like the three wise men, aren't they?
Do you know what?
They brought us gifts.
They really did. I wouldn't if you told me that I'd have the chance to interview Dave Grossman when I was like 10 years old when I first saw Monkey Island. I wouldn't believe it.
Back then.
Oh, you know, he's someone I really look up to. And we had a great interview with him recently in Arcade Attack, so please check it out.
Yeah,
he's a funny guy.
www.arcadeattack.co.uk/Dave-Gross.
Nice.
Well remembered. It's brilliant. It's up there with one of my favourite interviews for Arcade Attack. Not just because it's a great interview, it's just the fact I managed to speak to someone who I really respect, respect. Really up there.
Amazing.
Really up there. Right, so I'm going to kind of split my discussion into 3 parts.
Ooh.
Because actually, Monkey Island the game, the first one, is actually split into 3 parts. See what I did there?
Clever. Dude, you're so clever.
Oh, thank you. Part 1 is not really talking about the game as such, but how I actually discovered the game, because there's a little story about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
part 2 will be talking about the game itself.
Ooh.
So that's the real meat of the sandwich.
Meat on the bones,
and part 3, Keith don't know much about this, but I've got a little Monkey Island game to play.
I like games.
You might change your mind when you play this game, but we'll come to that later.
Put you off games.
But anyway, part 1, set the scene.
Okay.
I was thinking back to my head what year it was. It must have been 1992. I was 10 at the time.
Yeah, we were.
God, I feel old. But anyway, I was still at primary school, last year of primary school, and I was getting a bit older then, and my mum trusted me to walk home. But a lot of the times during the week, I went straight to my mate Isman's house. And he didn't live far from the school, so I'd go to Isman's house for an hour, play a few video games, and then go home for dinner. Now, my good old friend Isman, he had an Amiga. A Game Boy. I think that was about it really. But the Amiga he had a great Amiga. I think it was an Amiga 1200.
Oh yeah, I did.
And
that was pretty sweet.
It was. I had a 600 in the day.
That was also pretty sweet.
It was good. It was good. But yeah, he had the latest games. He always had the latest games. So I'd zoom over there. The Amiga wasn't in Usman's room. It was his big brother's room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
And the cool older brother, I used to call him.
Oh yes.
Because tell me this. If you know someone who's got nunchucks and ninja stars on the door, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is pretty
Oh wow!
cool. Especially when you're
That's
10 years old.
Do you know what? I was 10,
yeah.
and I used to always take the nunchuck off the wall. I don't know if I was allowed.
Oh,
I felt a little bit scared, but you had to. Anyway, when we were in Usman Brothers' room, we used to play Street Fighter 2, 2-player games, Speedball 2, the classic Sensible Soccer. The list could go on.
Yeah.
But there were typical games we used to bust out together and have a good time for an hour. Then I'd say, "Oh, thanks, Usman, I'm out of here now." It was great. But one day when I got there, it was a few months before we broke up to meet. When I met Dylan and Keith actually at high school, but a few months before then, in Usman's brother's bedroom, I saw a box. And I was like, that's a new game, isn't it? So, yeah. But you wouldn't like it. I was like,
Oh, very dismissive.
Why wouldn't you like it?
You wouldn't like this
What's wrong with
10-year-old
you?
Adrian.
I said, this one, whoa, what is this game? He said, have a look at the box, but I'll just play some Street Fighter. And it's a picture of a pirate. It's obviously a pirate setting with a zombie pirate. And I'll talk more about the characters later. And I was like, this looks amazing. It's like a proper movie. Sort of. It looked amazing. I was like, we've got to try this game. And Usman was like, no. You won't like it.
What? Why is he trying to deny
Well, look,
you?
no, to be fair to him, he knew I was only there for an hour.
Okay.
And he, at the time, was a bit frantic, and I was the kind of person that liked to play the odd quick game. I've mellowed a little bit since then. But he said, it was not really his style. Monkey Island's quite a slow game. I don't think you enjoy it. And he said, look, come on, let's play a game of Speedball 2. I was like, fine. And then after Speedball 2, I said, please, Esmond, can we just try this game? And he's finally said, oh, fine, fine, but put it on. I don't think you're going to like it. So he put the disc in, and all of a sudden, I was transported to this amazing, I couldn't believe it, amazing graphics. What I saw, it really impressed me, actually. The whole setting, it was almost taken to a whole new world. The pirate world.
Sucked into it.
I really did. He hadn't played much of the game so far. There's 4 discs to the game. He's still on the first disc. Later on, I played the game properly, but at the time, I really vividly remember this. I'd walk around Mealy Island, or Melee Island, how you pronounce it. Melee Island, yeah, classic place.
Oh, you can call it Mealy as well.
Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't really matter. But I went into the prison, and you had to, I think his name was Otis, and you had to break him out of prison, by the way. But I just remember it very clearly. He says, do you want some money? He had a lot of, Isman obviously got some money, but do you want some money? And he said, no, I just want to escape. But he said, actually, I'll take one. So I kept giving him coins after coin, and this was like, that's not part of the game. But I liked it, how you could go around at your own pace. It was just a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And after that, when I said goodbye to Isman, I went back to my brothers and said, we need this game.
How long did you play it for, that first time?
Yeah, I probably was late for dinner, I'm not going to lie. I might have got in trouble, but it was worth it. It was so fun. So I got home, and this is the game I really wanted. And luckily for me, my uncle came. He had the latest Amiga as well, and he'd bring games now and then, sometimes copied. And he was like, and as soon as my uncle came, he always bought the latest new Amiga games, and I was like, please tell me they got Monkey Island, and he did. And he gave me my own copy. And
I'm pretty sure I copied your copy.
Well, yeah.
I copied it. Oh, shh.
And I was quite rude that day. I was like, thank you so much, Uncle. And I just literally ran up to my bedroom, chucked it in the Amiga. I must have played it in hours. And it was amazing. It's a sort of game, and I'm sure we can all, I'll ask you in a minute what games you think this does to you, but there's some games where you just literally become part of that world.
Yeah.
You get sucked right into it and just kind of lose yourself in it.
If I was going to name a few off the top of my head, and I'll talk about Monkey Island in more detail, but it'd be like Zelda Ocarina of Time. That properly transported me away. Yeah?
There's one
mention on the Aging Zelda tally. That's one.
That's one. But that was the sort of game. Also, even like Championship Manager, different settings took me away. Things like June 2 as well, which I might talk about in the future. Sort of games where I really got involved. The Final Fantasy games. 7.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's proper games where it's not a game you pick up and play. It really took me, and hours would just zoom by. Is there any
what game did that to me?
Go on, let's hear.
First Resident Evil.
Good shout, to be fair.
Sorry, carry on.
First Resident Evil. You had to say it.
And you can talk about
the second one. Anyway, go on.
I do. But the thing about Monkey Island is, it was probably the nearest thing you had back then to being in a film.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
You basically, it was that. I had quite a few point-and-click games on the Amiga, but that was my favourite. I had Cruise for a Corpse, like the Delphine ones. I had Operation Stealth, Future Wars. You named Loom.
I haven't ever played Loom, but I've heard quite good things.
It's strange, but anything that's point and clicky, I was there. But Monkey Island, you always went back to it. Always went back to that game. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the second part of my talk, I think I want to dedicate a bit more to the actual game itself. You've heard the story, how I finally got hold of the game. I hope you enjoyed it. But let's talk a bit more about the actual game, the secrets.
Tell me more.
The secrets of Monkey Island.
I'm a point-and-click virgin. I've never played these games.
You've got a point-and-click.
You two are like the Amiga brothers.
The secret of Monkey Island is that it's a ghost.
It's a spoiler. There's no spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Well,
people want to play?
if I can sort of chip in there, correction, only one person in the world knows the true secret of Monkey Island, and that's the creator of Monkey Island, Ron Gilbert. Now
that was a joke, you see.
It was a bad joke. It was a bad joke.
Oh, come on, man. Give me some credit.
Right. But yeah, apparently only one person in the world knows the true secret of Monkey Island. You don't actually find out. I hope that's not spoiling itself. You don't actually find out the secret of Monkey Island at the end of the game.
So Ron, if you're listening, can you get on the phone,
Come
please?
on. After all these years.
I was listening to him on another podcast, and I think he's sick of hearing that question. What's the secret of Monkey Island? So if you ask him that, he's not going to like it very much.
I don't think he's going to... oh well.
Right, so anyway, The Secret of Monkey Island was released in 1990 on the DOS version, on the PC first. It was then about a year later released on the Amiga, which obviously me and Dylan played that version. Point and click, absolutely incredible. It really, I think it was it was the first point and click game that really took off for Lucasfilms at the time.
Was it?
Oh yeah, LucasArts.
Was it the first one of these kind of games where the decisions you make affect the outcome, or was it a case of you have to make the right decision?
Well, look, that's a good question.
To progress.
I would say yes and no to that, because yes, in the sense that you can choose your dialogue, you can choose what sort of character you want to be, so you've got an option of certain responses. But fundamentally, to finish the game, there is a path. Yeah, so it's a bit of both. Don't forget, it's an early game. They're finding their feet.
I'm sure it laid the groundwork for those kind of games.
It was great. Absolutely amazing. So like I said, on the Amiga, 4 discs, which was not too much for an Amiga game really. I think the sequel had a lot more discs. I think it might have been double digits actually.
Whoa!
I know, crazy, right? Now, good old Ron Gilbert. He's created a character. Guybrush Threepwood is the main guy.
Say that again.
Guybrush Threepwood.
Oh, Keith.
Guybrush. Well, I deliberately didn't read up on it because I wanted Adrian to.
Oh yeah, he's nice.
And I don't want
to.
I don't want to make this podcast just purely Monkey Island facts, but the way he got his name is quite funny actually.
Go on.
The man, I can't remember the man who's done the artwork for Monkey Island. I apologise, but he does some great artwork. And when he was designing the characters, the main character, they never actually thought of a proper name. And I think it's Deluxe Paint they used to draw the characters.
Oh my god!
And when you saved the character, when you saved any images, you saved it as a brush file.
Oh,
and they just literally called the person Guy. He's the guy. He's the main guy. Guybrush.
Oh, that's genius.
And I think Threepwood was just a nice. It came from an old-fashioned literacy piece. I can't remember the actual book, but it was just felt well. But goes well, doesn't it? Guybrush Threepwood.
I won't forget it now
really
you
well.
said it.
He's great. I love Guybrush actually. He's a little bit wet behind the ears. He's a bit. If I can set the scene actually, the start of the game is you see Guybrush walk in. With this old man, a big sort of watchtower over the Caribbean island in Mealy Island. Okay, so it's a lovely start to the game, and you start off by saying, "Hi, my name is Guybrush Threepwood, and I want to be a pirate." And it just
is that the very start?
That is the start.
It is. You want to be a pirate, and he's young. He's a little bit gullible. He can be a bit sarcastic, can't he?
Yeah.
He's lovable, and I really felt. When I think of pirates, many people think, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever. But when I think of pirates, it's just Monkey Island for me. It's the first thing that comes into my head. It really, really is.
I don't think Guybrush is one of those characters that any actor would struggle to play because he's so unique. And I just can't imagine any actor playing.
Well, apparently there was actually a script written for a film. Oh. There was. That's not going to happen ever again. That's not going to happen. But there was actually a script.
It would have worked.
No, neither do I. It's too difficult. Too difficult. Now, so Guybrush, he wants to be a pirate, and actually, to become that pirate, he has to finish 3 tasks. 3 tasks. The 3 trials, it's called in part of the game. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you visit the Scumm Bar.
The Scumm Bar.
Now, that's quite a clever name, actually, because it is a bit of a scummy bar. However, Scum actually stands for something. It's the Scum. The game uses something called the Scum Engine. So the point and click, most of the screen is the actual view of the setting, the island, the pirate ships, or wherever it is, and the bottom half of the screen. So there's options, isn't there? Pick up, walk to, look at, use, and the right hand side it shows you infantry as well. So the Scum Engine was used. And any ideas? What does Scum stand for? That's not the game, by the way. But any ideas, Keith?
Something
Dark
menu.
Something
menu.
No, you're correct. Not even one thing right. Do you have a guess?
No.
Scrolling,
clicky,
curtain rail, Uber menu. No, you said menu.
Uber mensch.
Uber mensch. No,
mensch.
What is it? Says use. Maybe the U is using.
No.
User.
No.
What's that?
Well, it stands for Script Creation Utility. For Maniac Mansion.
Oh, right.
Here we go.
It's the Maniac Mansion engine.
That's right. So I had never played Maniac Mansion. I put my hands up. but it's the first. I think it's one of the first point-and-click games ever made, especially by Ron
I
Gilbert.
never knew that.
Yeah, and actually, you can actually play Maniac Mansion on Day of the Tentacle. There's actually, that's a great little.
Yeah, you
little,
can. It's quite funny.
It's a really good little Easter egg, isn't it? Actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Monkey Island. So they got the Scumm engine. You point and click, you move around, and there's so many great characters. There really, really is. I could spend all day talking about the various characters in the game. But the main ones is obviously Guybrush Threepwood, the hero, the person you control.
Yeah.
The love interest, Elaine Marley, the governor of the island. So she's an important character, and the main enemy, LeChuck. LeChuck. Now he is a great zombie kind of sort of skeleton sort of pirate. He's great. Okay. He's green. He's a real bad guy. He's a proper enemy, and it's so good. It just. What I like about the game is you learn lots about the characters and you can interact differently and the puzzle. It's a puzzle game, isn't it? So you point and click, you move around the island, you have to solve certain puzzles, and some of it is just hilarious. It really is. And I was thinking about it the other day. There's not many video games, I don't think, that are just really, really funny.
God, no.
When you think about it, there isn't many, is there?
No. You sometimes get games where they try to be funny and it just doesn't work.
It is extremely funny.
It's hard. I reckon it's one of the hardest things, isn't it? Making a video game that's actually funny.
I'm struggling to think of any off the top of my
I
head.
can think of some. Secret of Monkey Island. Monkey Island 2. Day of the Tentacle, which we can talk about another day. Also Sam Max Hit the Road. They all made by the same team. Okay. Or a lot of the same team. All made by either Lucasfilm Games or LucasArts.
LucasArts,
Monkey Island was made by Lucasfilm. And I think it was the last game made by Lucasfilm, which is obviously owned by George Lucas, or used to be at least. And they then converted to LucasArts. Yeah. So the first Monkey Island is the old ones, and later on. So it's great, and so many great characters.
You can see the humour in that Dave Grossman interview. Just the way that he just attacked the questions with such panache.
He did.
He put us right in our place.
He did. He took us a lesson or two, didn't he? Yeah, exactly. The game is brilliant. Okay, you start off with Melion, and actually the setting is set at night time. So that's unusual as well. There's not many video games set at night time. Yeah. So the first sort of 1/3 of the game, you walk around this lovely island, and the graphics, I know they're quite simplistic really, but it just added to its charm in a way. You felt fully in control, and the colours were kind of dark but nice and moody. It was a mystical area. I loved it, and there was voodoo ladies you had to visit, and there's so many different pirates.
It might not have been as atmospheric if it was in the daytime.
Do you know what? I honestly think that's true, and it just reminds me of going back to Isma's house and going, what is this? It's just madness. It is like playing a film. Yeah, it's like playing a film. It really sucks you in, and I love it so much. Actually, I really, really do. Now the free trials, I'm going to test you a bit here. It's like the precursor game. If you want to be a real pirate, what things do you think you have to pass to become a real pirate?
Drinking?
Well, there is a drink called grog, but that's not it in the game. No, it's not drinking. What would you need?
A wooden leg?
To have a wooden...
A parrot?
To own...
No, you need a parrot?
No, you don't need it.
To own things that a pirate would own.
Well, what do you mean by that?
To own a parrot.
That's not really a trial. You can go to a pet shop for that.
To walk someone down a plank. No, to walk someone down a plank.
No, good. We're getting closer. That's more piratey.
You don't have to pillage things.
Good. That's one of them. One of the trials is the master of thievery. So stealing.
Okay.
So you have to actually steal something from the governor's mansion, who later becomes your love interest. But there you go. Spoiler alert.
You need to know how to swashbuckle.
You have to learn how to use a sword.
Swashbuckling.
And that's one of my favourite parts of the game. Actually, the sword fighting.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a typical sword fighting game. It's a point and click game. So to win your sword fight, it's called insult sword fighting. So you literally, a pirate insult you, and then you have to come back with a better insult, or you have to come back to it. So
excellent.
We'll talk about that.
I like the sound of that.
It's brilliant. Some of the responses are actually really, really funny. And the last one is treasure hunting. Come on, guys.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
Duh.
Pirate needs some kind of cash flow.
Oh, dear. Yeah, there you go. It's brilliant. There's so much in the game. It's funny. One of the little jokes in the game, for example, because I told you it's 4 discs. But if you go to this tree stump in the game, it will say, to see the secret of the tree stump, please insert disc like 14. or if you do it again, insert disc 47. I think it goes up to 103. And actually, this joke, apparently it caused a lot of people to call up LucasArts and go, "Oh,
where's my 47th disc?"
And they had to take the joke out in later editions. They went,
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh,
There was too many calls about it.
I know. That is crazy. You know, it's a brilliant game, and actually, why it's different to most adventure games. I think you mentioned a few before, like made by Sierra and stuff like that. The other sort of
by Delphine.
yeah, but more serious, weren't they?
Yeah, they were a bit
games?
more serious.
And I think in those games you could die. You can't die in Monkey Island.
That's nice.
That's true. You just wander around and
You wander around. Well, actually, there's little asterisks next to the you can't die because in every game you can sort of die. It's a kind of joke.
Okay.
So, for example, one of the things that Guybrush Threepwood can do is hold his breath for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And that might be the game later. How long can we hold our breath for? It's not. Don't worry.
It's quite a talent.
fail.
Can you imagine the silent podcast? It won't last long. but for example, he can hold his breath for 10 minutes. And at one point in the game, you're actually underwater. So you've got a timer, a 10-minute timer. If you can't solve this sort of relatively simple puzzle under the water, you actually do die. But the game just resets back to there again till you solve the puzzle. So you can sort of die, but you can sort of not. You know, it's a nice, chilled out game. I love the idea. That. The puzzles some of the puzzles are quite easy, some are quite difficult. But just walking around, talking to people, does this go here? How's that work? It's beautiful. You know, it's a relaxing game.
It is.
It really, really is good. Now, I've got another fact here. Actually, now the game itself, Ron Gilbert did take some inspiration about the Pirates of the Caribbean, the actual ride at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So he took some inspiration from that.
Yeah.
And the Pirates of the Caribbean films have actually taken some inspiration from Monkey Island.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Yeah,
it.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
Especially the second Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Okay.
There's actually a scene where you have to use a dog to escape from prison, and there's a voodoo lady as well. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
That's all taken from Monkey Island,
Yeah,
which you could argue was
that's awesome.
taken kind of from the ride. So it's all a bit.
No, it goes round.
It all goes round. And actually,
Ouroboros.
who owns LucasArts now?
I don't know.
Disney. Disney bought.
No, of course.
Yeah, so it's all in a big. It's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
Oh.
Maybe it's always meant to
Disney
be.
rule the world.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So like I said, guys, the only person that knows the true secret is good old Ron Gilbert. What do you reckon could be the secret? Any ideas? It's a tough question, isn't it?
It was all a dream.
Actually, no, I don't want to. That's relatively close to the ending, I think, of number 2, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, the secret is that it's toxic. So everyone on it got radiation poisoning and
maybe
shortly died.
Maybe created three-headed monkeys, because that's a little joke in the game as well.
Yeah,
Three-headed
could be,
monkeys.
Could be.
Now, you've played the game, Dylan. What do you think about it? What's your take
What do
on
I
it?
think of Monkey Island?
Yeah.
I think it's damn entertaining.
It's great, isn't it?
I think the good thing about it is, actually, one of the bad things about having my Amiga playing it was that the save function never worked on the discs that I wanted it to.
Ooh.
So I had to start from the beginning quite a lot.
Oh.
Do you know there's that bit at the beginning where you get the fish, you stew the fish.
That's right.
And then you go up into the town, and that bit, it kept on for some reason at some point, when I had to restart it a couple of times, it kept on not getting past that bit.
Oh no.
So I was just like, so quite Monkey Island brings back quite a lot of frustration for me.
I think you're lacking disc 47. I've actually got the exact numbers here. So it was disc 22, disc 23, disc 47, or disc 114. There you go.
Oh man.
You're missing disc 114 maybe.
Can you imagine if someone actually phoned up saying, where is disc 114?
It happened apparently. It did happen.
Mate, there's only 4 in the box. Like, you know.
So how long is it?
I've heard that
games now
you can.
hundreds of hours.
No,
how long would it take you?
If you zoom through it as quick as possible without really...
You didn't make any mistakes.
No
and
mistakes.
You get all the right responses.
And you don't really enjoy the talking. It's about a 3-hour game, I think. You can smash it out quite quickly. But that's not really the point of the game.
Sure.
You know,
because you need to save it, which is what made that whole thing really annoying.
Just to finish off the game, really, there's actually been a remake of the game. They've remade the game in 2009. When it came out, I bought it straight away on Steam, so it was available back in the PC, and there was actually voice acting now. So the first 2 Monkey Islands didn't have voice, just text. Do you know what? That wasn't bad though. You put the voice in your head. It's like reading a book in a way.
I sometimes prefer the text as opposed to listening to the actors.
But then, to be fair to the actors, I forget the actor who does Guybrush Threepwood in later games, and he went back to the special edition as well, the remake. He is very good. I think he nails it quite well. To be fair, I really do.
Was it only released on Steam, or was it available?
Well, I think you just missed out because it was available, wasn't it, as a free download?
It was actually on
Xbox.
Xbox Live, because I'm one of these people who still rattles off Xbox 360, Xbox Live stuff, and they were kind enough to give it away for free, so it was quite nice to actually play it and be able to save it and actually play it properly. So
you could get past the fish trial.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But I like the remake, and actually what a nice memory for me is I played it again, and a lot of the puzzles were kind of in my head, it was a bit missed around, and my middle son Ewan, he loved it as well, and he was like,
really?
oh, what is this game?
Excellent.
And this was a good few years ago now, really, when you think about it, but he sat with me and we worked together, and when I was watching Ewan watch me play it, and he was playing it a bit as well, it's like, wow, this is like me back in the day.
Nice.
It was lovely. It was lovely. It's kind of game that I thought, I'm not sure if Ewan's going to kind of like this game, but a bit like Usman, I was proved wrong. And no offense to Usman, he's a great guy, but it made me love point-and-click adventures. After this game, Monkey Island 2 had to have it. After this game, Sam Max Hit the Road. After this game, Day of the Tentacle. Full throttle. I was a LucasArts.
Did you play the Indiana Jones ones?
Oh yeah, I played the.
They're good.
They are good. The Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I think it wasn't as good. It was a little bit. It was before Monkey Island, apparently. But the Fate of Atlantis, which I will definitely talk about in a future podcast, that is a good game. It's lacking a bit of humour. I would say it's the only negative, but I could talk about that game all day. I loved it as well. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan as well. Actually, it's great.
Yeah, me too.
Look, if you get a chance to play Monkey Island, whether it's the original or the new remastered edition, fully recommend it. It's excellent. If you're new to point and click games, it's a good starting point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I had to really gauge the best point and click game that I've ever played in my life, it might actually be the sequel to Monkey Island, the second one. It might be but you want to start from the beginning. It really is brilliant, and the sound. You heard it at the start, before I actually started which on about this. Yeah. The music is brilliant.
Music is great.
It really brings you into the Caribbean.
It's definitely got that Caribbean feel.
It's excellent, and it's brilliant. I loved it. I can listen to it, and it brings you into the atmosphere. It really helps you get into the game, doesn't it? It's brilliant. Yeah. Right. Last little fact of the game, if that's all right. Then I might bring up the game. That's what the game. The last little fact is obviously George Lucas. Owned LucasArts or Lucasfilms at the time, and there's a troll in the game, and if you get past the troll, he removes his mask. It's not a real troll, and it's actually George Lucas. Little dig at the boss there. Fair play to Ron Gilbert. Brilliant. Excellent game. Go and play it. As I mentioned earlier, one of my favourite parts of the Monkey Island game, the first Monkey Island game, is the insult sword fighting.
Oh no!
Now I thought to myself, how can I turn this into a little game to play with good old Keith and Dylan? So I like to call this game. It's not. I thought of a pirate pun. It's not really to do with sword fighting. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
Pieces. Let me start again. Actually, pieces of 8-bit. Did you get it?
Yeah, I get it. Inspired.
I was trying to think of a better one. That's the best I can come up to.
Pieces of 8-bit.
Yeah, sorry, that's bad. Right, anyway, the game, we just call it insult sword
I've
fighting.
got a good one. Go. If we're going to be insulting each other, pieces of hate.
Oh, how does he do that?
I don't know. You're meant to be the one who does it as good at puns.
Oh,
I've learned from the master.
Anyway, the rules are relatively simple. I'm going to insult, basically, Dylan and Keith. It's finally that time.
Oh, I see. This is like 20 odd years worth of...
Exactly. I'm going to use an insult from the game. Okay? And I do have the proper response. I'm not expecting you guys to know the exact response, but a little bit like Cards Against Humanity, I will judge who has got the best response.
I like it.
So there's a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
If you can link the response to the initial insult, the better. That's the kind of theme, isn't it? So I'll give you an example from the game. Is that all right?
Yeah, go on.
We'll start from one. So one pirate might go, "Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab," and Guybrush can come back with, "First you better stop waving it like a feather duster." You see what you see?
Okay.
Good. Now I'm looking for good responses.
So hard at this.
I'll start with Dylan.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Because Keith's a bit scared, I think.
I am a bit scared.
So let's insult Dylan, and then
I only just realised that you're wearing an umbrella top.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty
that
spicy.
is cool, actually.
Oh yeah.
That
Got
is
the same place I got my Atari bag. Rocking the retro
God,
stuff.
you're actually you're wearing retro today.
That is cool. That is cool.
Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Back to the game. So I'll say the insult to Dylan, then Keith have a little time to come up with the same insult but a different response. Is that right?
Right. Okay. So we're both going to respond to the same insult.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we'll do like 3 of these, and I'll try and gauge out of the 3 who's got the best. Are you ready for this?
Okay, go on then.
So here we go then. The first one. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you.
Was he also smarter than you?
Oh dear. Right, okay. Before I tell the official answer, let's go to Keith. Ready here? I once owned a dog that was smarter than you.
You must be barking mad.
That's good. I like that. That's close.
That's rubbish.
We like the puns. We appreciate it. The actual answer is he must have taught you everything you know.
Very nice. Very nice.
But one of my favourites. You ready for this?
Cool.
I'll start with Keith now. It's only fair.
Yay.
You fight like a dairy farmer.
You moo like a cow.
Oh, that's nothing. No, wait. I'm not saying anything. I'll come back to it. Right, Dylan. I'll put my pirate voice back on. You fight like a dairy farmer.
Well, it's time to make cheese out of you.
No, I've got to give the point to Keith that one. It says the answer is how appropriate. You fight like a cow.
Yay!
So I think Keith gets that one. So far, I think the first one was a draw.
Okay.
So Keith's winning.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? Right, next one.
How.
Right. Okay. I've spoken with apes more polite than you.
Ooh. You said. I think. Hold on. Say it again. Say it again. Just so I can get into it.
I can only do the pirate voice.
Yeah,
Ready?
you've got to do it.
I've spoken with apes more polite than you.
I've talked to apes less smelly than you.
Oh, it's not bad. Right.
Just
Okay.
kind of half stolen my response.
Oh, good one, Dylan. Are you ready for this?
Okay, go on. Then.
I've spoken with apes more polite than you.
I've dined with monkeys with better table manners than you.
That's not bad, actually.
That's rubbish.
No. The actual answer is I'm glad to hear you attended your family reunion. Right. Are you ready for this then, guys? I think again that's a bit of a draw, so I think we'll do 2 more. Dylan's got to get these 2. Okay, we'll do 2 more.
Okay.
Right. You are a pain in the backside, sir.
Pass.
Dylan,
let me give me a second. Let me think of one.
Okay, yeah.
Go on.
You are a pain in the backside, sir.
Is it me or is it Keith?
Yeah, Dylan.
Okay. You smell like my backside, sir.
Oh dear, not bad. And if Keith passes, do you want to come back?
No, I'll pass that one.
So it's 1-1. The actual answer is
the point.
your hemorrhoids are flaring up again, Oh dear. Right, we'll do one more because 1-1 at the moment, and we'll finally see who wins the game. Here we go. I'll try and pick a good one. Right. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go, guys. The final one. Are you ready for this? Okay. I got this scar on my face during a mighty struggle.
Try using a Bic next time.
Not bad.
You shouldn't have interfered with that cow. Why cow?
Why
cow? I've got a thing for cows.
We like cows, and the actual answer is I hope you not learn to stop picking your nose.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Right, that's a tough one actually.
Ooh.
That's a tough one. I quite like the use of the cow in the answer. I think that automatically wins, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Keith wins. Pieces of 8-bit. Or what was it?
Pieces of hate.
Pieces of hate.
Pieces of 8. That's better. Keith wins 2-1. Well done, sir.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how, but okay. I'll take it.
Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little rather silly game with Monkey Island. And if you want to learn more about it, play the game.